Big round of applause to all 19,000 plus who have subscribed here at Boston Celtics Today. If you just helped us reach that milestone, shout out to you. The road to 20K begins now. Huge milestone here on YouTube. So if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. We're publishing daily Boston Celtics content here on Boston Celtics Today. I'm Harrison Graham from Chat Sports. Here's what's coming up. Why a Grant Williams return is still possible, even if he'll likely get an offer sheet from another team. We'll explore that. Plus, if he does get traded, what do the Celtics want in return in a sign-and trade? Now, if you want Grant Williams back in Boston, go ahead and like this video. Hit that like button and show your love for Grant Williams. If you don't, let us know in the comments why you don't want Grant Williams back. I could certainly see both sides of it, but like the video if you want him back in Boston. Here's Jared Weiss of The Athletic. He says multiple league sources told The Athletic that they expect the Celtics to consider matching a deal up to the 12.4 mid-level exceptions, such as teams as Charlotte and Atlanta can offer, but those teams, as well as Dallas, New York, and Washington, can work out a sign-and trade with the Celtics to bring in Williams for a salary Boston wouldn't match. Williams can't sign an offer sheet until July 6th. That's tomorrow, so teams have time to get a read on how deep into the teens they can push the Celtics before Boston relents. Now, Boston wants a haul in return for Grant Williams in a potential sign-and trade package. Jared Weiss saying that the Celtics are looking for a first-round pick for Williams, which is quite a bit for a role player that's a restricted free agent. Like, Grant Williams is a nice player, but to want a first back when it's unclear how high the Celtics will go in terms of accepting an offer sheet or matching one, considering they would be paying a luxury on the luxury tax, is something to consider. Now, that is pretty notable. Like I said, Boston is obviously going to do its due diligence to try and do what's best for them moving forward in compensation, but I'm not sure they would actually get a first rounder. Like, out of all those teams interested, I can't imagine a first going back is really that much on the table for any of the interested parties. Team might just sign him to an offer sheet and put Boston, kind of in the ringer, right? Hey, you can either match and keep him or you can let him go. That might be the approach from some of these teams that have been linked to Grant Williams, like the Atlanta Hawks, the Charlotte Hornets, Dallas Mavericks. The next first-round pick they can trade is a 2027 first. I would be shocked if they did that to acquire Grant Williams. The New York Knicks have been linked to him as of late, so is Washington. So, look, never say never, but getting a first back for a guy who's not even a starter, at least for the team he's currently on, that seems like a reach from Boston. Maybe they settle for a second or something like that. Coming up, some NBA analysts cooked up a couple of Grant Williams trade ideas. So we'll break those down and give my thoughts on what the return could end up being. But first, get your votes in. Will Boston re-sign Grant Williams? Type Y for yes, or you can type in for no. I just think it's going to come down to what offer sheet he signs. If it's just the 12.4 mid-level with the team, then yeah, I think Boston probably matches that. If a team gives him 15, 16, 17 million and it's a 3-4 year deal, Boston might just say, you know what, we're going to go ahead and move on. Y for yes, and for no. Let us know when it comes to Grant Williams. All right, here's a trade idea from The Athletic. Tim Hardaway Jr. and JaVale McGee from Dallas, straight up for Grant Williams. Again, no picks there, but you replace Grant Williams shooting with Hardaway and get more volume there, a guy who could probably play heavier minutes. You also take on JaVale McGee, a player the Mavs are trying to dump. You could stretch waive him if you're Boston, or maybe he's like a number 3 center for you. Could be a possibility as well. Here's a trade idea from Bleacher Report, a 3-teamer. Celtics get a second-round pick. Mavs get Grant Williams. Spurs get Rashawn Holmes and a 2030 first-round pick swap with the Mavericks. So more pick-centric there for Boston. But again, not getting a first, getting a second and a pick swap. Here's Greg Schwartz on just how things could play out with the Celtics as a whole moving forward in offseason. He says already $12.1 million into the luxury tax. Adding Williams' deal would mean an additional tens of millions in luxury tax payments, something the Celtics may not be willing to do. Boston, like the Miami Heat and the Max Strus signing trade, collects a future second-round pick to ensure it doesn't lose a key player for nothing. So that's his explanation for that 3-team trade. in there. And to be honest, looking at those two trades, the Hardaway one isn't bad. I mean, if you replace Grant Williams with Tim Hardaway, they play different positions. Williams is a better defender, but Hardaway is a guy who can score 15 points per game. He could shoot 40% from three, can play the 2 or the 3. He can be a starter. He can be a backup. That's not a bad deal if you're just going to lose him anyway. Sure, you got to take on JaVale McGee, but he makes less than $6 million. It's honestly not that bad. So I think that's a decent one. Again, I don't think Boston gets a first in return for Grant Williams. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're, the Knicks have 8 first-round picks. Maybe they trade one of their heavy protected picks to acquire him. Maybe that's possible, but I don't think it's super likely. Celtics fans, this T-shirt shorts combo remains 40% off for a limited time only, so go check it out today. Shop right now, chatsports.com/Celtics combo. That link is in the comments and in the description of this video. It's chatsports.com/Celtics combo. Click and shop today. A link is right there. Okay, Malcolm Brogdon. Remember when Malcolm Brogdon was traded, then he wasn't? Seemed like he was going to get traded, and sounds like injury concerns led to him not getting dealt. They ended up pivoting to trading Marcus Smart. Well, from MassLive, they report that it is far from 100% certain that Brogdon will be back in Boston next year. Now, here's Robb of MassLive on what the Celtics' overall cap situation looks like. He says technically the Celtics would be able to retain Grant Williams and keep Brogdon if they are willing to push well past the second apron of the tax there at $182 million with the team's payroll. However, the guess here is the team tries to upgrade the roster in a bigger way via trade if they are looking to do that type of spending in the 23-24 season. So basically what he's saying is if they're going to be this heavily into the tax, they would prefer it to not be because of Grant Williams and Malcolm Brogdon. Like, for example, if they could somehow get Damian Lillard, that's worth being into the second apron of the tax for a franchise, because that's a guy who's going to help you win a championship potentially. Is bringing back Grant Williams and Malcolm Brogdon, which doesn't actually improve the team, it keeps you close to where you were, is that worthwhile of being that heavily into the tax? We already know the Celtics are open to trading Brogdon. They tried to do it just a few weeks ago. Now, you look at the Celtics backcourt. At the same time, I don't think you're just going to dump Brogdon for nothing either, because after moving Marcus Smart, you're kind of thin there. You've got Derek White, who's been a really good role player for this team, and he could be poised for a bigger role potentially. Peyton Pritchard, I thought 2 seasons ago he looked like a promising piece. Last year, not so much. There was chatter that he could want out unless he's guaranteed a bigger role. Well, I guess he'd have one if Malcolm Brogdon got moved. Delano Banton, J.D. Davidson, not a lot of proof there. So lots to consider on the Brogdon front. What do you guys think? Would you trade Malcolm Brogdon? Type T for trade, or you can type K for keep. Again, if you trade Brogdon, you're pretty thin at that point guard position. So something to think about if you are Brad Stevens. T for trade, K for keep. Celtics fans, we'll be back tomorrow with another video.